Hello, and welcome to another Doujinshi reading from White Album 2. Today we're looking at kind of an interesting one because this is technically, as you can see, a review book. So this is going to go over the plot of White Album 2, and this is a really good talking point if you want to have a conversation with someone about White Album 2. Kind of flipping through these major plot points and talking about them is a really simple way to really go through your thoughts on the game with someone. So that's what we're going to do today. So taking a look, this is White Album 2 review book. We have an adorable chibi image on the cover. Kazusa and Setsuna in their festival outfits. They're almost a little bit chubby, like chubby chibis. I love that. Very cute. So, White Album 2, Introductory Chapter is, of course, where we're going to start. Hello, and well done. Hello. That might seem like a weird thing to say in the first panel, but we're assuming the people seeing this have finished the whole game. So, be aware of that as we proceed. Trophy acquired. Game clear, all scenarios complete. Which, if you're watching any of my videos, I really hope you've played through the whole game. Because you will get spoiled, and it's different knowing what's going to happen. Those misguided people who haven't played all the way through and are afraid of spoilers should close the book right now and get back to playing the game. Misguided person. Gonna get cut. I think that should do for a foreword. Now, it's time for the White Album 2 review book to begin. Yes, please. Naturally, we'll begin with the introductory chapter. You'll find all of this summarized in a timeline at the back, so if you're uncertain about anything, you can check there. Also, this is really useful for doujinshi artists and people who are writing anything kind of fan-made for the game. If you're like, oh, when was the date for that? When did that happen? This is the kind of book it's good to reference. Our first highlight would be the scene in which I decided to join the club. Oh, you mean when you completely put him off at karaoke? He just said he was a little surprised by how disgraceful I could be. If it were me, I'd have said I was going to the bathroom at the third song and just left. I didn't say anything. The punishment mask. The song that began everything for us was White Album. I sang along with it at karaoke as a way of declaring I would join. And in my humble opinion, it was a pretty nice performance. I've decided to participate again. Sorry, I keep flaunting that. Now, let me introduce myself. I'm Setsuna Ogiso from Class 3A, etc. Didn't want to draw out the whole scene, just etc. Even if I'm not good enough during the show and they laugh at me, I won't give up. I promise to keep singing until the end. Thank you for bringing me in. As of now, Setsuna Ogiso has no more secrets, because you know all of them. Oi! That's the part you memorized? If you saw someone leaving behind the strawberry from a cake, wouldn't you want to eat it? Oof. Kazusa's gonna die by the end of this. By the way, really beautiful art here. I really like how they did the shading. They have some solid shading and then some dotted. It's a really nice combination. Then I guess the next thing to talk about would be when we found out the master of music room number 2. Meeting an unexpected character makes an impact, right? Kitahara. Actually, I'm pretty sure anyone with common sense could have guessed who it was. I didn't say anything. Oh, they're so adorable. I really like how they've done this. It reminds me of the radio show with Kazusa and Setsuna's voice actresses hosting, and now they're kind of hosting their own review of the game. And later, a girl I'd only just met started trying to pick a fight. No, that was an invitation. Your voice is shaking. Well, there was this dummy who kept gushing to me about another girl. Yeah, we did have a pretty hopeless idiot on our hands. The dummy in question. Also, they made Haruki look way more attractive than he is in the game. I guess that's my opinion, but I think it's a pretty valid opinion as well. Definitely not the type who could just stick to one girl. Who would ever fall for a monster like that? Dumb. Ors. Actually drawn out in comic format. But pulling ourselves back together, as we rehearsed together, the distance between us closed, and we went from using family names for each other to using given names, which left a deep impression, I think. Setsuna Ogiso's combo guide. You can call me Setsuna. To, I'd like you to call me Setsuna. To, you have to call me Setsuna. Like a bulldozer. Exactly. Setsuna is a bulldozer. I think this may have been when I had the most fun. All we cared about was what was coming up. We may have clashed, but we never separated. Having the two of you next to me felt like the most natural thing in the world. Right, because that's when they were still 3. You know, if there are crushes, but there's not necessarily conflict, that's fine. But once the two of them broke off, once it was Setsuna and Haruki, that's where the bigger conflicts started happening. And then there was the day of our show. It was such a blast, wasn't it? Well, it wasn't bad. You were pretty antsy as the MC, Setsuna. I felt like I could take off and fly. God, look at these outfits. They're beautiful. But I did notice that in the beginning, the little chibis of them, they both had almost like asterisks, like Kazusa's necklaces. But now they've gone and changed Setsuna's to the cross. So I can't say we got 100% of the practice we put in, but on an emotional level, I feel like we managed to give 120%. Personally, though, I feel like we could have gotten it just a little more perfect. That doesn't sound like the girl who ignored the performance in favor of showing off next to me. I didn't do that. That's a false accusation. She looks so mad. I really, really love how this author has truly mastered the full body images of the girls, but also their chibis. Like, they both look really, really good. They can do regular expressions or they can do over-exaggerated expressions. And I feel like that's a really cool asset to something like this. Even though you got carried away and attacked a sleeping boy? This from the one who got carried away and asked that same boy out? All right, let's move along. This is burning both of us. The double punishment bag. And you remember what comes next, don't you? I sure do. I started dating him. Kazusa just watched and waited. Such a tragic triangle. It was not tragic. It was deadly. I was pretty terrible myself, wasn't I? No, looking further ahead, I was even more terrible. Oh, but the fact that they're insinuated that they're friends after this and they can talk about the past is really cute. This mood is no good. We'll die before we finish if we go on like this. Get out of here. Throwing the something dark away. No more dark, only happiness. Let's see how long that lasts. Anyway, let's cheer up and go to the hot springs. That's all done. Christmas, the end of the year, a class reunion. We packed so many fun things into one trip. Felt like a dream. It was nice, right? Yeah, it was. Nice is one word for it. I could think of a lot more. Though there was a lot going on beneath it. But we were still able to stay the 3 of us then. Still, this is the limit. once we got back, I just vanished. Yeah, one of the saddest scenes in Introductory Chapter is Kazusa bawling her eyes out, punching the steering wheel. And when that happened, I only had one way of escaping. My beloved piano. It truly is all I have. Ciao. There goes her soul. You got a little something there. I decided to go to Vienna, and just as I was finally managing to lock everything away, that idiot showed up. I had endured for so long, tried so hard to keep my resolve, and in moments, all of it went up in smoke. I was happy that my feelings had made it through, but at the same time, I couldn't forgive him or myself for being so careless. Which way was my heart supposed to go? I can't do it. There are more now. Snap out of it. Life is nothing but pain. Poor Kazusa. She's been through the ringer. She definitely has. But later on, Setsuna's gonna get her own ringer too, so... Come on. We're almost through. You can do this. Whoa. Actually, now I want to lie down. There's nothing more to see from me. You go on, Kazusa. Oh, gosh, I'm feeling a little shy being told to talk about this. Kazusa lay mussed on the bed, her cheeks flushed. The two of them touched each other, warming their cold hands, exchanging their feelings. At last, his hands moved to, "Don't you dare!" "But Setsuna, you told me not to put indecent things. This isn't an 18+ book. We can leave that part out." Whatever, I'll keep going. I'm too scared to sleep peacefully. Also, Kazusa bragging about these kinds of things in front of Setsuna is very funny. A little bit out of character, but very cute. That's right. Kazusa didn't come to the graduation ceremony, but she did sneak into the school and leave me a letter. I betrayed my best friend and ruined our relationship. Oh, that's Kazusa. Huh. I betrayed my best friend and ruined our relationship. I couldn't just stride in. How was I supposed to look you in the eye? I still wanted to graduate with you. Yes, our relationship got complicated, but it's because the three of us were always together. So whatever shape it took, I wanted the three of us to graduate together and lament the end together. Although, to be fair, during graduation, Setsuna didn't know that Haruki and Kazusa had slept together. Just saying, they didn't know, not slept together, didn't know that they had made out on the side of the street at that time, which is a pretty fair point that Kazusa really didn't want to go look at Setsuna and Haruki at that point. That way, even if I couldn't put on a brave face, I could cry as hard as I needed to with the two of you to comfort me. Setsuna. Also, if we'd been able to have a proper conversation at graduation, I don't think our seeing you off would have wound up the way it did. Ugh. Now that you say it aloud, I really was terrible, huh? Don't get so depressed. Just make a joke or something. I did terrible things to you too, Kazusa. I'm in no position to blame you one-sidedly. No, it wasn't your fault. I love that they're friendly. I don't know how they ended up friends after everything, but I'm glad that they ended up friends here. Maybe it had been better if we were all girls or all guys. We wouldn't have had anything to fight about. No, this isn't that kind of story. Gay? Go on home. That's me. It's literally me. Every time I'm playing this game, I'm like, well, okay, not exactly that thought, but my thought is, why don't just Kazusa and Setsuna get together? Then things would have been fine. The little gay? Happy Pride Month, by the way. But if that were enough to keep us from fighting and make everyone happy, Kazusa? He's got such a baby face, there wouldn't have been any problem. Haruko Kitahara-chan could have been a possibility. I told you to keep it decent. Oh my god. Put those scissors away. I don't know what you're planning, but you better put those away. So here's the timeline that they were talking about. So they give a pretty basic timeline of the introductory chapter. So our points here are: Light Music Club dissolves. Setsuna retracts abstention. Retracts abstention. I think that is a double negative, but maybe I'm wrong. From Miss Hojo High competition. Haruki discovers Setsuna singing on the roof, invites her to join the Light Music Club. Setsuna refuses Light Music Club invitation. Haruki tries to persuade her again at her workplace. I mean, not really, he just kind of pulls her away from the workplace. Haruki does late night karaoke with Setsuna. Setsuna declares that she will join the Light Music Club. When you put it like this, it sounds so funny. It's just like, no, yes, no, yes, yes. Setsuna joins Light Music Club, search for the Master of Music number 2. Music Room number 2. Master of Music Room number 2 discovered. Haruki and Kazusa lectured in staff room. Setsuna worries. Invitation to Kazusa fails. Haruki tells Setsuna how things stand. Haruki talks to Setsuna about Kazusa. Haruki talks to Kazusa about Setsuna. Setsuna and Kazusa meet face to face. These all seem so insignificant when you write them like this, but every scene was like so important to the plot. Setsuna reports her results. Kazusa is invited again. The three spend day off together. Setsuna invites other two to her house. First meeting with entire Ogiso family. Kazusa decides to join the Light Music Club. Kazusa officially joins club. Planning meeting. And now we have a few quotes, like important quote bits from the game. Obviously not all of them, because there are so many good quotes throughout the game, but here are some of them. I've decided to participate in the competition. Setsuna Ogiso, Class 3A. I'm here for my 3rd year. Huh? We all have responsibilities. In my case, as someone who's been chosen. It's definitely supposed to be a space in as someone. You're not forcing yourself? I am, but not that much, comparatively. Wait, are you Ogiso? The assistant from the committee? The one singing was, of all people, the last one ever expected to find. The pinnacle of lovely female singers. Were you the one playing the guitar? There she was, standing before me. Man, I can hear the music, even just thinking about that scene. Hey, Kitahara-kun? Huh? As of now, Setsuna Ogiso has no more secrets, because you know all of them. Weren't things simple back then? Literally the only secret she has was that she was kind of plain and boring. Imagine if that was the only secret throughout the game. It was you. It was you playing the piano? Toma. The master of music room number 2, my after-school neighbor. This was her true identity. Kitahara, what the hell are you doing, you idiot? Kazusa Toma, Class 3E, my classroom neighbor. A very important scene, to be fair. Haruki and Kazusa meeting, like actually meeting for the first time, and their friendship before Setsuna had started, before, we even started the game, is so beautiful. Please read the side novels. They're so good. Actually, I asked him to talk to you about it. What? Why? I thought it might get you a little angry. What? I mean, I came here because I got mad. He wouldn't stop gushing to me about you. She could end up my worst enemy or my best friend for life. One of those, I think. What? I made a promise to Ogiso as we were leaving. Toma? I told her that if you could talk her parents around, I might as well join your little light music club. Aww. That was a cute scene. And then Kazusa and Haruki opening up about their families was a very beautiful scene. Just makes me really irritated that later on Haruki's like, your family wasn't even bad. And it's like, you were literally there. You saw how lonely she was. That's why like that scene was so beautiful to me. And Haruki just like completely disregards it later on, which is so frustrating. So, continuing on our summary here, Haruki is called to Kazusa's house. They play a session together. Haruki spends the night at the Toma house. Haruki has lunch with Setsuna. The three have a successful first session at the school. The three ask the Ogisos for permission to have Setsuna stay overnight. The four members visit the Toma house. First song, White Album, completed. Second song, Sound of Destiny, decided upon. Setsuna becomes aware that Haruki stayed over. That's a big yikes. Setsuna interrogates Kazusa. Setsuna learns that Haruki stayed multiple nights in a row. Haruki apologizes to Setsuna over the phone. Kazusa begins secretly composing third song. Thanks to Takaya for providing the notebook. Haruki and Setsuna begin calling one another by first names. Haruki begins escorting Setsuna home on a daily basis. Kazusa continues composing while a test is going on, snaps when her notebook is taken away. The three skip class in music room number 2. Kazusa finishes composing. Kazusa falls ill with a cold. Haruki takes care of Kazusa. Which, again, is a beautiful scene. Now, we just kind of glazed over it, but the fact that it was a secret that Haruki was staying at Kazusa's house to begin with was dumb. Just be honest, like, I need the practice. I've been staying up all night, having extra lessons with Kazusa. Would Setsuna be jealous? Yes. Would it have been better than her finding out you kept it a secret? Absolutely yes. I haven't even bathed. You shouldn't get too close. Yeah, your hair is really mussed. I told you. Yes, you're really working hard, Kitahara-kun. Ooh, it's weird to hear Setsuna saying Kitahara-kun because she only did it in the beginning of the game. Here, you can have this cream croquette as a reward. Let me finish. The moment the morsel from Oiso's lunchbox touched my plate, the air surrounding us got even heavier. No one could keep up with this new, frank behavior from Ogiso. So completely different from before, myself included. She didn't act that much different than before. It's just that she was paying attention to one guy rather than just not paying any special attention to any guy like an idol would. I've said it over and over. I don't want Toma's amazing talent to go overlooked. Kitahara-kun. I don't care about that personally. I'm only here in the first place because you insisted. Well, I'm insisting again, so you'd better make it a spectacle. Kitahara, you really... Only Ogiso and I knew the real Kazusa Toma, and I couldn't accept that. Yeah, well, you wanted to keep it a secret most of the way through Coda too. But you ended up writing articles about the real her, which, incidentally, made people fall even more in love with her, so you got your wish. I will never, ever leave you, Ogiso. I swear to you, I will never cut you off. I won't leave unless you leave me first. Ha! Such a beautiful line. Such a beautiful lie. You can call me Setsuna. No, I really... Those words, which I had grown accustomed to ignoring, now came at me with a new power, with only a simple phrasing shift. I'd like you to call me Setsuna. Oh. I haven't hung up yet. You have to call me Setsuna. Setsuna. Now she hangs up. She got what she wanted. What's the password? This is her house. Huh? I'm afraid to take my eyes off her. I want to do what I can with what's here. She hasn't woken up yet. All very important scenes. Gosh, it's wild, like, going back to Introductory Chapter, because in Introductory Chapter, as you know, there are no options, right? You really just kind of play through the game. So a lot of the time, the thought doesn't cross your mind, like, well, what if I did this? What if I did that? It would have led me to a different ending, because it's uncontrollable. But really digging deep and analyzing Introductory Chapter is interesting as well. Not only just the obvious, like, what if Haruki never cheated? You know, that's like the big one. We all have thought about that. But all of the little things. What if he never lied about going and staying at Kazusa's? What if he never called Setsuna Setsuna? What if he, like, kept that barrier up, you know? There are a lot of things which could ultimately have altered the timeline. But before we get into the next part, this is the common root timeline, because this is quite long. I think we will stop there for today. So, thank you so much for joining me on this Doujinshi reading from White Album 2, and I'll be back with the next part shortly. Until then, hope you take care. See you!